community needs a trauma center, and you're going to put up a library. What the hell?
Okay, so how long has the trauma center been gone?
1988.
Yeah. So what is the relevance? I'm missing it.
Well, the community is saying, look, you, University of Chicago, used to have a trauma center that you supported here. That
Right.
trauma center's been gone for 25 years. We need one. You're
No,
going to build something here, but it's not going to be a replacement for the needed trauma center. It's going to be a presidential library. That's not what this community needs. This
okay.
community needs a trauma center.
So obviously I get it. I mean, it's kind of a rhetorical question, but where you been on the trauma center before? Okay, and I love liberals, man. It's why we do what we do.
Because what's better for a down and out oppressed community than a presidential library? I mean, although you know what, the irony of having I mean, the South Side Chicago, there are neighborhoods there that are the functional and visual equivalent of the vast areas of the shining liberal city on the hill, Detroit. That would actually be incredibly appropriate to have the Obama Library in some rundown,
Well,
gang infested.
yeah, dude. There's no better place for an Obama shrine than on the south side of Chicago. I mean, from Maxwell Street to all of the, dude, that's a scary part of town. You don't have to
Right?
get very far from. I don't remember what the White Sox field is called now. There's a new one, but you don't have to. You can throw a baseball across the street from that park and get into some pretty scary stuff. So I think it's a perfect place for the Obama Shrine to be constructed because it would just exemplify as well as could be exemplified failed policies of the Democratic Party as it relates to Black Americans for the last 50 years.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's interesting. Dan, who's so engaged with our show, Dan, we really
I
appreciate it.
love
He just
Dan. Yeah.
Yeah, he just tweeted saying University of Chicago Hospital has been accused of dumping indigent and homeless people on other area facilities.
See, there we go. Yeah.
You know what the University of Chicago hospital is famous for, by the way, a former employee of that institution.
You know what? Off the top of my head, I do not, but I think when you tell me, I'm going to recognize it, and I will tell you if not.
Well, there was a particular individual that had a $25,000 a month plus job. It was a diversity enhancing position,
Right.
working outreach to enhance diversity within the school or within the hospital. She is now, she's given up that job. She now runs around telling the rest of us in the country what we should be eating in our lunches.
Oh, see, I didn't. I can't believe
Yeah,
it. Mooch, mooch.
Michelle Obama had a $350,000 a year job at the University of Chicago Hospital that was some sort of diversity enhancing position. By the way, Mike, interestingly enough, do you know who held that job before Michelle Obama got that job?
I do not.
Again, 25,000 plus dollars a month, and it was diversity. It was a diversity outreach kind of thing. Oddly enough, that job did not exist before it was given to Michelle Obama. Do you know? Do you know who's had that job since she left?
No.
That job was eliminated. Nobody has had that job since she left.
Okay, so let me make sure I understand. Um, this was a Mooch Obama thing, wasn't it?
This was a job created at north of 300 grand a year for Michelle Obama.
Right.
Uh, and as important as it was that it took out, 300 and some $1,000s a year out of the revenue of the hospital, as important and critical and essential as that job, maybe she completed the task and it's now done and finished, put a bow on it, and they didn't need to hire anybody else for it.
Well, yeah, probably because you know
You
what
know
they
what?
touch.
I just got an idea, dude. If she ever runs for governor of Chicago or runs for other political office, that would be something she could say. She said, "Hey, look, I was so effective in the private sector that the University of Chicago Hospital didn't even need to have a replacement for me because the job was completed."
See, there you go. Michelle as mayor of Chicago. That might be good.
No, 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 no,
Listen,
no, no. That's too small. Mike, that's God, that's too small.
well,
You didn't listen to what I
dude,
said.
dude, you said governor of Chicago, so
I
I'm
did.
just trying to. Okay, so you think? Well, I mean, just as a stepping stone. Although she is so special and has been so profoundly effective, particularly as it relates to school lunches, that she should shoot to the top immediately. But listen, I think this whole discussion kind of a moot point because Barack Obama has become way bigger, has transcended the South Side of Chicago. You know, I don't know if it's going to be Hawaii or wherever. His presidential library needs to be somewhere very impressive, man.
Yeah, it does. We need to move on to vaginas here, but
There we go.
here's the deal. She was promoted in 2005 to vice president for community and external affairs after 3 years of executive director of community affairs. She went from 122,000 to $317,000 with that promotion.
Wow. Can you
They
imagine, by the way, someone just tuning in the last 30 seconds and hearing you? The first thing that they hear on the show, we need to move on to vaginas.
Well, if they'd ever met me, they would know that they'd be like, "Yeah, okay, that's it. Housem's on the air."
Well, see, because they know you. Yeah, that's a good point. All right.
Okay, I'm going to put the link up to this thing as well about Michelle Obama. Dan's the one that hipped me about that, which is interesting. Okay, yeah. So are we going to talk about this other? We can talk about Jen's article.
The vagina thing.
Yeah. So it was interesting that a buddy of mine actually brought this up to me yesterday.
Okay.
Um, and I'm sure folks have all heard of the play, The Vagina Monologues,
You
right?
know what? But yeah, I think you're right. But just like, again, back to 25 words or less, explain basically what that's about.
Uh, well, The Vagina Monologues, it's been a feminist icon talking about it's basically women having a voice, right?
Right.
Um, and it was a play written by Eve Ensler, famous lefty playwright. And basically what it is it's monologues written by women talking about what it's like to be a woman, and particularly related to that particular part of her: sex,
Hmm.
love, rape, menstruation, genital mutilation, masturbation, birth,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
orgasms, common names, etc. But it's ultimately what it comes down to is that it's the tool for female empowerment and the ultimate embodiment of individuality. That is from the Wikipedia.
There we go.
So, like, there's a little section called My Angry Vagina, or My Vagina Was a Village, or you know what? There's a couple of things that I can't even read on the radio that are the title
Yeah.
of these things. Okay, so anyway, so that's the Vagina Monologues. And it's always been kind of an example of shrill, angry, feminist leftism. Okay,
Feministas.
feministas. Okay, so here's the deal. Um, and as you could guess, women's colleges, things like that, it's a huge big deal. Now,
Right.
Mount Holyoke is no longer going to allow the vagina monologues to be shown on campus. Let me read the at its core, the show offers an extremely narrow perspective on what it means to be a woman. Gender is a wide and varied experience, one that cannot simply be reduced to biological or anatomical distinctions. And many of us who have participated in the show have grown increasingly uncomfortable presenting material that is inherently reductionist and exclusive. Here's the deal: not all women, not all humans that identify as a woman have a vagina, So it's
No.
insensitive to have a play for women that's focused on vaginas because it excludes those women that don't have them.
Okay, so let me stop you for a second. Before you got to that last,
Okay, that was the most measured response to what I just said you could have
right
possibly mustered.
there we go. Because before you got to that last part, I was on board, and then, yeah, dude, that was yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. Mount Holyoke is not going to allow the vagina monologues on campus any longer because it discriminates against those women that don't have vaginas.
See,
Uh,
we need to bring Phyllis in next week for a full analysis of this.
oh my gosh, that is unbelievable. I
Wow.
mean, imagine this shrill, feminist, angry play is now being protested because some women don't actually have that particular body part that the play is all about, that essentially is about why women do have power.
So again, I mean, I say it all the time. A, you can't make it up. B, it sounds like it should be from The Onion. C, it sounds like it should be on Saturday Night Live. It's just, dude. I mean, again, not speechless, but it's hilarious. It really is.
It is, uh, to me, it is just unbelievable. I mean, I could not believe it. In fact, another thing that I saw that just came out about it, I got to find it. Um, my friends at Whole Wellness Co-op tweeted about it yesterday. Uh, and they, oh gosh, I can't, I'm trying to scroll through their timeline to find it.
You know, I'm
Oh,
thinking while you're looking for it, we need to have a representative from those guys on because I think that yeah, we're pretty much all simpatico. So anyway.
yeah. Oh, you know what? It had something to do with their withholding funding for a local community theater expression of the vagina monologues in support of Mount Holyoke.
There we go.
Oh, I just I did just see this. We were talking earlier about their both stores are actually closed today because they're grieving, and they're also organizing a protest for the Oscars about the racism of Selma.
This is a
And
dark day for liberals, man.
it is another thing that actually happened, that tomorrow's aforementioned Oscar racism trauma closure necessitates doing the prostate self-exam workshop via Skype.
Oh my
Oh my
god.
god. Yeah,
Oh
I just
yeah.
can't believe this. I can't believe. This article was written by Jen Van Laar, and this paragraph is so perfect. It's ironic that the feminist movement, which started with the idea of equality and freedom of expression for women and their sexuality, is now shutting down the voice of women talking about sexuality because they don't like the way it's said.
There we go. And kudos to Jen, our friend, because she's exactly right.
You know what, dude? This article sat for 48 hours before they put it up.
All right. So yeah, let's don't go there. In light of
Right?
your recent experiences, but hey, it's Friday. It's kind of like
It's
happy hour on the
it's a little
nights.
like. Are you drunk?
Yeah. Oh, dude, I've been lit up for 6 hours.
All right, man. So we got a minute. What are you doing this weekend? Anything fun?
Um, listen, somebody else asked me that earlier today. Obviously, the Colts Patriots game to determine which one of them goes to the Super Bowl is on. I will watch that. I do not expect the Colts to win. Then again, we did not expect them to beat Peyton Manning and the Broncos. But dude, the Patriots in Foxborough just too tough. I look at it quickly as just another step for Andrew Luck, who is definitely the next superstar, if not yeah, already in the NFL.
Right.
All
I
right,
don't know
so
how much football I'm going to end up watching.
you never watch football, dude.
No, ever since ever since it was obvious. We're
All
out of
right,
time, man.
dude, we're out of here.
This show is produced